morning, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome to our guests.
Good morning.
A few weeks ago, a relative called and said that she was interested in taking a trip to the mountains. She said, I want to do something fun this summer, and I want to go to the mountains, but I don't want to go alone. Would you be interested in taking this trip with me? And since I had traveled with her before, we had gone, it had been many years, we'd gone years ago to Las Vegas and had a blast. I said, well, yes, I would love to go with you on this trip. So that all sounds very nice, right? Yes. So far, yes.
There must be a punchline.
Except this relative of mine is a happy-go-lucky, easy-going, just we'll plan it as we go along type of traveler. And I, on the other hand, like to have all the details worked out ahead of time. How long is this trip going to last? Where are we going to go? How much are we going to spend on lodging? All of that I like to have laid out. So, my dilemma became, and my point of negotiation becomes, how do I lower my stress, lower my anxiety about knowing the details of the trip, how long it's going to be, where we're going to go. To make it more complicated, by the way, my cousin said, I want to go to the mountains, but I want to go to Nashville. There's this place in Nashville that I really want to go to. Well, the mountains in Nashville are 4 hours apart. And so since it's going to be a pretty short trip, just 4 or 5 days, that was another complication in my head that I thought, okay, we've got to work through this. So anyway, again, back to the point of negotiation. You know, how do I lower my anxiety about needing to know, plan out this trip, and not prevent my cousin from being spontaneous and enjoying a trip that was going to be easygoing. So I don't want to kill my cousin's love of fun and being easygoing, that type of thing. So that's the point of negotiation here. So the next part of this talk is a role play. And Kathy Fike has graciously agreed to play my cousin Kathy. And so we will be role playing, negotiating this trip. So the negotiating the points of my nailing down a itinerary and all of the other details that I laid out, but at the same time being able to accommodate my cousin Kathy's love and spontaneity. So please welcome Kathy as we role play this scenario that I'm describing. Well, hey Kathy, I am so excited that you invited me to go on this trip with you. You know, it's been years since we've traveled together, but the last time we went to Las Vegas, we had a lot of fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I am too. Thank you again for inviting me. So let's talk about where we're going to go on the trip. Since you expressed to me that you wanted to go to the mountains and then wanted to go to Nashville, or in Nashville you wanted to go to the American Picker store, I was wondering if you could give me some ideas about exactly what you want to do. I've got some ideas too about some things that I'd like to see, especially in Nashville. I would like to see the Ryman Auditorium, and then there's a place in Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is just an hour and a half of north of Nashville that I'd like to see. But I want to hear exactly what you would like to do during this trip.
Well, as we said, I want to see that Pickers Museum. Sounds like a blast. The other stuff, I can just go with the flow on that one. Just, you know, whatever we decide to do as we go along is fine. I don't know that we need to get too specific
Yeah, well, that sounds great, Kathy. The American Picker Store sounds really good, but I really think that since you had mentioned earlier Gatlinburg in the mountains.
Yeah, that's supposed to be really cool.
Yeah, you
Really
did mention that, so,
Yeah.
so I don't know if you realize that the mountains are about 4 hours from Nashville.
4 hours,
Yeah, so that's gonna
really?
be a little bit tricky, you know,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And also, I was wondering where you might want to stay, if you wanted to stay in Nashville, or if you want to stay in the mountains. Have you given any thought to that?
Well, I was just figuring we'd get on the road and then, you know, Google what the hotels are, or on Google Maps, they always tell you where the hotels are along the way.
Yeah, Google Maps is wonderful. That's
Yeah,
really
really.
a great tool,
Yeah.
it really is. But let me just throw this out and see
Okay.
if how you feel about this. Since you definitely want to go to the American Picker Store, which is in Nashville,
In Nashville,
that's
right,
a non-negotiable, it sounds like
Right.
for you. And I'd really like to go to the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville. And I think that you would enjoy the Corvette Museum, because I know you love cars, which
Yeah.
is just like an hour north of Nashville, or an hour and a half. My suggestion is that we make Nashville our base
Okay.
and stay there the 4 nights. And then, after we do all those things that you and I both want to do, if we have time, and if we have an extra day, then we can maybe make the mountains a day trip. It'd be a long day trip, but that is a possibility.
A day trip up to the mountains and back in one day?
Well, I mean, it would
Seems
be.
like a lot.
It would be,
Lot of driving.
yeah, it would be. So, okay, well, that was my same thought too. That was my same reaction. So, I'm wondering, Kathy, if you would entertain the idea of making the mountains another trip. Let's do the Nashville trip and all the things we've talked about in this trip, and then maybe in the fall or next summer or some other time we do the mountain trip.
Sure, that's okay. Or what about do our time in Nashville and then go up to the mountains and then head back from the mountains? And not necessarily go back to Nashville after the mountains, just head back home after that.
Yeah, that's
Try
right.
to do it all. I mean, I'd like to do it all if we can.
Yeah, well, that's a great idea too, so we'll consider that, but for now, it sounds like we're definitely gonna be in Nashville.
Sounds good.
And then if we're able to tag that last little leg on it to the mountains, we will.
Yeah, depending on how the whole thing flows, sure.
Yeah, well, I'm excited, I think we've got it all
Sounds great.
worked out, so,
Okay.
so looking forward to it, Kathy.
Great, thank you.
The conclusion of my talk today is getting feedback from you and from Kathy, if Kathy has any ideas, getting feedback from Kathy and from you, the audience, about the negotiation process, about what have been done differently, what could have been done to make it more effective. So let me open it up to Kathy, and open it up to the group, if you have any thoughts or any ideas.
I didn't feel as though I was being pushed. That was the big thing, this process. I didn't feel like you were, pushing me to do what you wanted to do. So that, I think you succeeded.
There was an interaction, it was collaborative. You both got what you wanted, and the way you went about it is listening to the other person, being receptive. And if you disagreed, you handled it really well. It didn't prevent you from planning out. You were open to suggestions, both of you, in terms of the negotiation.
I think you reached your goal. You were not pushy, and you got to some agreements that you really needed. And I think that to some extent, people like Kathy was playing, they really need such a person next to them to focus and to be more organized. But I really admire your manner that was mentioned here. Not pushy, gentle, but you definitely go to the point.
Thank you, Gillian. Okay.
The one thought I had was you had mentioned that you like to know what things would cost, and also you didn't like surprises. So one suggestion I would have made was to bring up, will we be able to find hotels or reasonably priced ones and you could have suggested that you would look on Google and just see if the bookings were really heavy during that time, and maybe the cheaper hotels may not, or they would be, and that you would do that homework so that that you guys would have a feel for what you were up against as you just picked what you wanted, because that sounded like real fun, but maybe we would know if it was going to be more difficult or more expensive than we were thinking about.
That's a really good point, and that was a very important part of this, and I got that all worked out, and I'll talk about it in just a minute, but I wanted to take John's comment.
First, I'd like to commend Kathy for acting in a manner which is not to her usual.
Oh. What an actress.
This is out of character.
Yeah, you really did an excellent job at that. I thought the ending was interesting because you were the one that left it up in the air about what to do at the end of the trip, and you were the one that wanted to nail down all the details, so you didn't achieve that at the end, but maybe that was part of your compromise.
Believe me, it will not be left open up.
No. Of course not.
Believe me, it won't. So, anybody else? Well, thank you. Yolanda?
Just a small comment. You started out, you corrected yourself, but you started out, what exactly are you trying to accomplish on this trip? When I hear that, I was like, okay, she's nervous. She's nervous. She's nervous about this trip. She wants all the details down. And which, if I heard that, that would have made me nervous about what you're about to say.
Yeah, no, I did want it all nailed down.
Yeah.
Tracy, did you have something?
Yeah, I did. I'm a lot like you are. So for me, I guess I probably would have had maybe some points like, okay, what route are we going to take? Driving or, and then once we get there, just certain things that would have helped me still let her be her, but as long as I knew how we're going to get there, where we're going to stay, 2 days here, 3 days there, or certain points that make you feel better about, but yet still let the other person be who they are.
Yeah, thank you. Ellery?
Yeah, I was a little concerned that you only had 2 things you wanted to do in Nashville, and you're going to spend 4 days there. What are you going to do? And she wants to go see the mountains. Why not just leave after 2 days and go to see the mountains? In the negotiation, I don't know why they couldn't have, worked out that compromise, rather than just sort of adding it on at the end as a sort of a filler part of the trip.
Anybody else had any?
I just had a quick thought.
Okay.
She doesn't have to know all your plans. Like you said, you're going to do homework without her help. You're going to find out where the hotels are and what their availability is. She doesn't have to be in on any of that. You can still do your planning, and for her, it's spontaneity. She doesn't know. You've done your homework, so you can both get what you want.
That's
Yeah,
a good
that's
point,
good.
John,
That's
except
great.
for I want to make sure, yes, I want to make sure that she's going to enjoy the trip and
And
see
go with the program,
exactly
yeah.
what she wanted to see, because I felt like she had some things in mind. But let me tell you how this ended. This is a real scenario. Except it's with my cousin, my nephew rather, Keith. And we are going to take this trip in July, and he is just a happy-go-lucky, and it happened pretty much the way that I described it. He wanted to go to Nashville and the mountains. And so, but anyway, let me tell you how it ended up. We are going to go to Nashville. We've got the activities planned out, and as far as where we're going to stay, I'm very excited about, we've got a cute little 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom bungalow that we booked through Airbnb with a beautiful screen porch and a Zen garden beside the screen porch. I don't think we're going to want to leave the bungalow to do anything, probably. I'm excited about staying in the bungalow, but we got it all worked out. He's happy, I'm happy, so I think we're going to have a great trip. I'm looking forward to it. And that's the end of my talk. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you.